And then I still hear our friends talk about the need to stop climate change. Unfortunately, the climate has been changing since the Earth ever appeared, and I've got a lot of friends out there, and I say friends facetiously, people on the left. I'm given to understand that sarcasm is a tool that's appreciated by the intelligent. So the left, the alt-left, they don't get it. But this is an article from Ethan Hunt back in August of 2019. It says NASA admits that climate change occurs because of changes in Earth's solar orbit and not because of SUVs and fossil fuels. Well, it really can be a combination of things, but having found out from the former NASA director that the moon's orbit is slightly changing and the Earth's orbit is slightly changing, and as the term was, it's becoming more squashed. Well, that would mean there are times when we're closer to the sun and we're further away from the sun. And I know there's some leftists at NASA that said, oh no, changing Earth's orbit doesn't affect our climate at all. And I would humbly submit that you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that if you get closer to the sun, or if you get further away from the sun, it is absolutely going to affect your climate. Just as more solar activity, more solar flares, they're going to affect our climate, and there's not a lot that we can do about more solar flares, solar activity, solar hotspots. And I'd sarcastically ask a question regarding the Bureau of Land Management and National Forest Service, since they were going to be spending so much time on climate change, and we had heard the Earth's orbit was changing slightly and the moon's orbit was changing slightly. Could they do anything about that? So for those that thought I was really challenging BLM and the Bureau of Land Management and the National Forest Service like they were going to do something about the Earth's orbit, the National Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, they are not going to do anything about the Earth's orbit because they can't. It's not their job. And although there's some professor that thinks we could adjust our orbit, I think that's still yet to be arrived at scientifically. But it's an interesting concept, but I had no belief that it was about to happen by the Bureau of Land Management and National Forest Service. But it is interesting to look back. I missed this article back in 2019. It goes into much more detail about not only the changing orbit, but the changing tilt from time to time. But then if you do more digging, you find out that actually, going back millions, some say 56 million, some say billions, that the planet was much hotter, and the planet's orbit was closer to the sun, that it's moved back some over, according to some, the millions or billions, whatever you believe, number of years. So I also want to mention